back to Thrive. I'm Sandra Bishop, and I'm sitting here with author, lecturer, speaker, everything, all combined, youth advocate, everything, Johnnie Dent Jr. And Johnnie is going to read from us and for us an excerpt from his book called Sugar Boy. Johnnie, don't you want to share something?
Okay, let me set the backdrop. I did not grow up in church under no religious covering whatsoever. So when I came back to Cleveland, this was my first initial my first initial impression of a church that I went into. So let me just read from page 216 of Sugar Boy. When we arrived in front of the building, a long black Cadillac was parked on the sidewalk and blocking the entrance of the front doorway. As we entered through the side door and walked into the service, two burly men would motion for us to go towards an usher, who prompted us to sit in some seats which faced a large picture of a lily-white Jesus struggling on the cross. He was struggling so hard with that cross that his veins were popping out of his eyes. In the pulpit was a stereotypical preacher. He had a long jerry curl, wore silver-rimmed glasses, and sat in the pulpit with a cape or large bath towel around his neck. He reminded me of old DB of the Wu-Tang Clan. The place was extremely hot, and a large factory fan blew directly on him, while three small oscillating fans were in front of the pews. Look at this, and never mind, I thought. There was a woman sitting next to the pastor, and standing all around were men in dark suits, two near the door, two in front of the pulpit, and two on each side of the congregation. I understood security, but the place was no bigger than an average-sized living room. I felt more like they were keeping me in rather than looking for or looking out for the pastor and the people. Maybe it was just me experiencing penitentiary paranoia. I did want to at least hear him preach. I learned early not to judge a book by its cover, and after all, it was a church. The moment that I had been waiting for never came. The two burly men who had met us at the door were now standing firmly in front of the pulpit, substituting as deacons. While they went into prayer, I looked down at the 4 envelopes that had been handed to me. Offertory, said one envelope. Tithes and offerings, said another one. Building funds, said yet another. Benevolence, said the last one. Each offering was done separately, as one of the running backs, or deacons, would shield the offerings and take them back into the room. After those offerings, one of the mothers of the church, who actually was the pastor's biological mother, stood up and proclaimed that we needed to start a collection, a college fund for the youth. I looked around at the congregation that was predominantly composed of elderly people. Celeste and I were the only youth there. I watched as the faithful congregation went into their purses and wallets and pulled out wads of money. Some even tore open letters that contained utility bill money. Again, another running back, deacon, covered the basket and went into a secluded back room. Slowly, an old deacon hobbled to the pulpit, grabbed the microphone, and whispered, "Y'all know what type of shepherd our pastor is. He would have been doing anything, but he chose us to help us into the kingdom. Well, he won't ask y'all, but ours will. His car is having problems, and he only needs $1,000 to fix it," the deacon said. Again, the faithful congregation began to go into their belongings. Now, I understood taking care of God's leader, but I could have used $1,000 myself. Wow. "That's it. I'm out," I said loudly as I began walking towards the exit. "You leaving?" one of the burly men asked as he blocked the doorway. "You staying?" I thought. It wasn't just that church. There were other churches that practiced more of this kind of siphoning than salvation. Celeste sat angry in the car and decided that I had finally made a costly decision to enter hell. "If I had to be in a church like that, then all I want is to be a running back too," I said. "You going to burn from that," she insisted. "Like I said before, give me a cut and make me a running back too," I yelled.
Wow. Wow, that's interesting. So now, this is your first experience of church?
First real experience of actually wanting to attend a congregation, yes.
Man, and that was the perception, the perspective. That's very interesting.
Well, you know, I heard in the streets a long time ago, the game don't change, just the game players. And so I recognize it at every level. All I really want to see is a shepherd that really wants to help people, that really want to help them get to the next level. There's no reason for a shepherd to be in the promised land waiting on you. The people should be going to the promised land, and then the shepherd is the last to get into the land. And with that being said, I don't have a problem with preachers having big cars and nice things and stuff like that, but there should be a balance. There should be a balance. If I have the resources to basically get people's bills taken care of and stuff like that, help them get educated and other matters, then that's what we should really be doing in the church.
I agree. You know, I've volunteered at a church for years, and one of the reasons why I volunteer there is because they do so much to help the community. But a lot of times you don't see that in our community. A lot of people do that process that you said, that siphoning off. So now, what other insights have you gained in your upbringing? Like, how do you conduct yourself? Do you have like any, like, since you're a motivational speaker and all, do you have any like words that you live by, or any, you know, any litmus test that you give yourself when you're out here in the world?
3. The first one is, there's a quote by Zig Ziglar. You can help enough people get what you can have anything you want if you help enough people get what they want.
Okay.
I live by that. That's my credence. I will help anybody.
Right.
I don't care from the palace to the pews, wherever they at. I will help anybody get to where they're going.
Okay.
Some point they'll remember it, and it accumulates somewhere. Number 2, there is no arrival without survival, which is my own quote, which basically means that for you to have what you have, somebody had to survive, somebody had to go through something. Somebody had to take that taste test on that food. It probably killed them the first time, but you actually have the enjoyment of being able to savor that meal. And the third thing is, because I didn't have many people that could advise me along my walk earlier in the years, and I have plenty of friends now, and high-ranking friends too, but I used to go downtown to Public Square, and all the way up on any given night, if you go from Public Square all the way up to 17th before Mike White initiated stopping the homeless from gathering downtown, there used to be a lot of homeless people. So I would go up and I would take a $50 bill, break it into ones, and then I would ask each person down there, what's your story? And they would tell me their story, and then I would say, now how do I keep from being here? And when they would tell me that story, then I would give them some money, basically to get some food. And that's how I stayed humble for so many years.
Okay. Interesting.
My 3 litmus tests.
Yeah, I'm so glad you shared all this with us. And I want to have people go out and get your book. You guys, this is called Sugar Boy, and it's by Author Johnnie Dent, Jr. It's available where?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
I'm big on Google.
You big on Google?
Huge.
Okay, now if they're not online, where
if they're not online,
them?
any Barnes and Nobles, Borders Express, you can go to the libraries. Cleveland Public Libraries, Cuyahoga Libraries, it's all over.
All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much. I will be back in just a moment. You're watching Thrive, and I'm Sandra Bishop. To be a guest on Thrive with me, Sandra Bishop, just simply contact me at sandra@sandrasaidit.com.